Om Hari Om. Om Sahna Bhavatu Sahna Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Okay. So we are at verse 25 of chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita. And 24 was, the foolish think of me, the unmanifest, as having come to manifestation, not knowing my higher, immutable and peerless nature. So we had a discussion last time that how some people just get stuck in the Murti Puja and all that, and they just think that God is just resides there, but whereas he has talked about his immutable, peerless, changeless, eternal nature, and they don't know that. So all that we did, and let's see, along the same lines, he's going to again tell us a little more deeply about why people don't completely understand him from his nature. So here is verse 25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrutaha Mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mamajamavyayam. Na is not, aham is I. When Krishna Bhagavan says I, means that consciousness. Prakashaha, manifest. Here prakasha means koi cheez ko prakashit karna, means to understand it. Sarvasya, of all. Yog maya samavrutaha. So veiled by divine Maya. So we have heard of the word Yoga Maya. Now you know where it's coming from. Krishna Bhagavan used it over here. Mudaha, deluded. Ayam is this, na is not. Abhijanati, knows. So when you put janna, abhijana, knows very well kind of thing. Loka is world. Mama is me. Ajam, unborn. Jayate is the word that, means born, and ajam is unborn. Avyayam. So this word has come from the previous verse also. It's used many times in Bhagavad Gita. Imperishable. So let's see what he's saying over here. So Bhagavan is saying that I am not revealed. Prakasha word he used. I'm not known to all these people. Why? Because of Yoga Maya Samavruta. Because veiled by the Yoga Maya. He's kind of repeating the same thing, but making us contemplate that why this happens. So people are under the influence of Yoga Maya basically. And so what does that mean if we open that whole thing up? What is Yoga Maya? It's easy to say, oh, it is Maya, but what is that Maya? So we know that Maya is part of the three gunas. So Rajoguna and Tamoguna are the one that is a problem. So because of the influence of Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and this Maya is very strong because it's Bhagwan's Maya. That's why. Not easy to, it's like a video game, how to beat it. Like these children. Hard to beat. Okay. And so because of this, Rajogu and Tamogu, the real nature of the Lord is not very clear except for the Gyanis. We saw that the Gyani Bhaktas are the one who know him. And others don't appreciate that nature of God, and I'm not that easily available to them. I think few people's things are not mute. If everybody could check their mute, I'll appreciate it. Okay. And then he says that I am hidden. And how Nikhilananji was explaining that this power of Maya is a very amazing power. Okay. And even though God is there, consciousness is all the time there, but that we cannot access is because of this amazing power of Maya. And we don't recognize, Bhagwan. And so it's a strange power, you can call it. It's illusory power. It creates illusion for us. So, Nikhilananji gave an example. May not be the best one, but still gets a point across. That how people get deluded when you take some alcohol. After a point in the alcohol, they do all kind of strange things, जैसे इंडिया बोलते हैं ना, चढ़ जाती है जिसको. So they don't even recognize themselves. But the difference between the alcohol का है कि जब वो alcohol का नशा उतरता है ना, then suddenly, oh my God, I'm sitting in the gutter, let me go home. This is a worst case scenario, but this योग माया का power जो है ना, वो जन्मों जन्मों तक रहता है. That's the difference. But effect कुछ वैसा ही है कि I don't recognize who I am. So, and then further explanation is that we have discussed it, but we will just repeat it, because a lot of things in Bhagavad Gita, it repeats, but that's how it goes more, sinks into us, the deeper. That the power of tamoguna, it covers it up, the क्या बोलना चाहिए, knowledge. Even if थोड़ा सा knowledge आएगा तो भी वो cover हो जाते हैं, and we become unaware of ourselves. And then he was just saying in a practical way, how do we understand this? That when I'm talking about myself, say, in the world, it's superficial. I'm talking, it's nothing deeper. I don't go deeper than even in my mind. I might talk about body, mind, and intellect, because at the most, a little bit of sanskar. Sanskar is, my tendencies and things like that I've picked up in all these previous lives. So he was just, saying that suppose somebody asks you, who are you? So whatever we talk about, I'll talk about my name, where I live, and my job, and my family. And so, what are we talking about? Body, my mind, my intellect, memories. I can talk about what happened, my relatives, relative achievements, मैंने जो किया है. All of them are, if you think about it, spiritually speaking, they're outer forms. They don't in any way convey my real nature. That's where we get stuck at, So he was just another example he gave us. This was kind of a good one. It's like, suppose if the children are playing in the sand and they're building this sand castle, right? So you go there and you ask them, hey, what are these things? So they will tell you, oh, I made mommy, I made daddy, I made the brother, I made this house, I made this. Everything is on the form. He's not talking about the mud or sand, that he's used, right? The same way we are just talking about, outer things all the time. We're not going deep into it. And then another thing he said, that we are so attached to our memories of this life. He's saying that even if with this old age is happening to all of us, we are kind of a little bit losing our memory. And when we lose, we get freak out. Oh, I don't remember this name and what is happening. And I was saying, and to protect these memories, we of the past, we have so many different devices, we have this object, that object from the childhood, and pictures and all that. So he was just saying that how much khatpat we do just for this life, but we just fail to go deeper to recognize our real nature because of this yoga maya. And then, so basically the tamogun prevents us from entering deep, and rajogun is the one that creates, different illusory forms. And if you go back to that example of a snake and a rope, I don't see the rope. That's why I see the snake. I project the snake, and the snake is different for each one. So that's how it is, that this illusory personality is created. So he was just saying that how every moment we are kind of modifying our personality, obviously, with different experiences, right? And so we go to school, college, and, personality development, sometimes we do, and all that. And so this, what is it doing actually? It's just modifying my mind, intellect, and body, and, creating new sanskaras and all that. So this is what Bhagwan's Yoga Maya is. Because sometimes we can say, okay, what does that actually mean? The yoga. We get caught up into it so much, and that's why we don't even think about who am I, or, when they say that aham prakasham, that I don't get revealed to all of us. I'm hidden. So he was just saying, Nikhilanand ji, that how कितने सारे भजन भी है ना इस थीम के ऊपर कि भगवान आप छुपे हो कहाँ वगैरह वगैरह, there are so many theme. And then he was saying very interesting story that if whoever has read Ramayana, they may know about this story, that in Ramayana, it seems like, I think it happened in the beginning. Shivji is talking to Parvati, telling the story. But the story is that, all the devatas, सब वो परेशान हो गए रावण के अत्याचार से, right? So even धरती ने काव का रूप लिया, So it's a metaphor, the whole thing. That, धरती ने काव का रूप लिया और फिर देवता और धरती, they said, अभी किसके पास जाएं? So they went to Brahma ji first. And they said, please save us from this Ravan's atyachar, we are just all suffering very much. So Brahma ji said, look, I am a creator. I don't wage wars and things like that. My job is to create, So, मैं नहीं कुछ कर सकता. I'm so sorry. Go to Shiva. So शिव जी के पास गए तो शिव जी ने बोला कि देखो भाई मैं तो this is a शिव जी का वो वाला रूप जो ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश वाला है. Now remember that. वो वाले शिव जी. So वो शिव जी के पास गए. शिव जी बोले कि मैं तो एक ही ब्रह्मांड का शिव हूँ. So and there are अनंत कोटि ब्रह्मांड over there. So मैं भी कुछ नहीं कर सकता because Ravan is very, very powerful. Or he was that Jay, Vijay and all that, and he came down and वो मेरे बस का नहीं है. So they said, then what are we going to do? So he said, no, you got to go to that Para Brahma, who is the Ishwar, Anant Koti Brahmand wale, who controls the Anant Koti Brahmand, and who is Avyakt and Aprakat and all that, So they said, how do we find him? So then they had a discussion, how do you find this Anant Koti Brahmand wale Para Brahma ko? तो किसी ने बोला कि वो वैकुंठ में रहते हैं, किसी ने बोला नहीं मैंने सुना है कि वो सबके हृदय में रहते हैं. So ऐसा सब डिस्कशन चल रहा था. तो the Shivji said, that's a very famous line about it. He said that Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. So he is everywhere, Sarvatra, and you don't have to go anywhere particularly कि वैकुंठ चले जाओ, ये वो कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, कोई स्पेशल जगह जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. And the second line is, what is the second line? Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana, Prem se prakat hui main jana. I know that he only gets revealed with love. So if you surrender, to him, he will reveal to you. So the whole story tells the same thing what Bhagavad Gita is saying, that that final surrender is required to kind of reach him. So I thought this was kind of, everybody knows about this story, but it kind of fits in here and gives us more deeper meaning of what Krishna Bhagwan is trying to say. So Nikhilanand ji was reminding us that Bhagwan is there in each and every breath we take. He is there in everything we touch, and he is there in every thought of our mind. So he is there everywhere, but to experience him, we need that complete surrender, and that comes with complete love, and because he remains hidden, covered by the Yog Maya. So that's another approach, how to understand this. So he was just, Nikhilanand ji was joking. He's saying that Bhagwan is a very shy person. He doesn't come out until you want him to, and we discussed that Tamogun and Rajogun covers it. So now there are 3 gunas, right? So Rajogun and Tamogun is a problem, but Sattva Guna is very good. That's why Bhagwan ne bhi Arjun ko bola isme Bhagavad Gita mein that to Sattva Gun ko badha. Okay, because that is going to help you. So Yog Maya ka dual role hai. One is that it's covering, another Yog Maya itself is going to help you to go to. That's why that they have, I think in Shaivism, like this Kashmiri Shaivism, they say that they approach God through Shakti. Shakti is nothing but Yoga Maya only. Different forms of Shakti, Durga, Parvati and all that. So through him through the Shakti they approach, because Yog Maya helps you with this when you develop the sattvic nature. Okay, so then he was just explaining that what happens when you increase the sattvic nature. One of the things that mind gets start getting purified, right? So purified mind may you feel calm and peaceful and all that when the sattva increases, and we start experiencing that peace and happiness. That is what God is. It's God only. Because we might think, oh, we are experiencing happiness and peace and all, through purification of mind, we are experiencing God. उसकी झलक मिल रही है हमको. So he was just reminding that God doesn't come like when we see in all those serials and all that, prakat ho gaye, Ram or Krishna ke. No, it comes in the form of that happiness, peace and all that. And then when it becomes deeper and deeper, then supreme peace and happiness. All that you're experiencing God only. And further, if you continue, then he reveals himself as pure knowledge. So that's a very, very deep thinking we have to do, that, hey, what does it mean, when God reveals his nature? And then ultimately one comes to recognize God as one's own self. Because that's what it always comes down to, that how do we reach that? We know in kind of intellectually, but we don't have the experience. But the moment we are getting this peace and happiness, hold on to that's an experience of God only. And then this factor that we're talking about is nameless, formless, infinite, birthless, deathless, changeless, all of that and that is what is revealed to us. So that's the summary over here, that I'm hidden by Yog Maya and not available and revealed to us, to all except my devotees who are Gyanis. And Gyanis are because their Sattva is more, and then they slowly go to that path. And then he used this word moodhoyam nabi janati loka, means this mood jeev, not jeev, yahan par loka bola hai. So it's like mood world, but actually he's referring to jivas in there. Don't know me completely. And then he doesn't know, they don't know me as ajam, unborn, and avyayam, changeless. So he's just repeating those things. Those are characteristic of that consciousness. So what Nikhilananji was telling, that if you don't proactively strive for it, for this spiritual knowledge, he's saying we may just die ignorant. We may know, like, what should I say, intellectually, but we are not going to have the experience. So from the spiritual perspective, that's ignorance only. In fact, there is one Upanishad, I'm trying to think, I think it is Ishavasya Upanishad, or Kena, one of the two, where it says that if you just get stuck in the intellectual knowledge, you fall deeper into the darkness. Because that ahankar comes, I know everything and all that. So it's kind of a deep subject, but that's how they explain. That's why you said that, hey, we might die ignorant. So he's saying this knowledge is not just available just like that. He was just saying that it's not like you switch on the TV and the news will start coming about Brahma Gyan. Even though these days there is a lot of it, but then what happens is, yes, we might tell each other stories about it and all that. But the real nature is still, we have to do proactive. Means we have to put it in action, everything. That's the most important thing. It's like in these days we can exchange a lot of stuff on WhatsApp. That's not going to give us that final Brahma Gyan. You have to proactively do it. And what is the step? Again, he was reminding, we have heard it many times, but there's a lot of repetition in Vedanta, that purifying our mind and contemplating, taking the help of the scriptures, and that'll help us to get this nature of God revealed to us. And so he was just gave one other great example. That is, suppose there's a great scientist who has done some great discoveries, okay, and then people are so mesmerized by him and they interview him and they said, hey, you are so intelligent and you have discovered all these things, wonderful things. How did you do it? And he thinks about it. He's saying, actually, I did it by standing on other shoulders of other giants. Whatever other previous people had done for me, that's what they helped me to get this. So, he's saying that that's what he did not discover. He was not able to discover it all by himself, but standing on the shoulder of other giants of science, he could do it. So he's saying similarly that if we want to know something about God deeper, we have to stand on the shoulders of the great rishis and munis. That's why I thought that example was so beautiful. We won't be able to understand it ourselves. And we know that all these other things, if we didn't have all the commentaries and understanding, we will not be able to. So, and then he just, one more very important point that, what does it mean further? Some other analysis over here, that when I say God and I say that I at the deepest level is the same, that consciousness is the same, but he's saying what happens to us is we identify this I with our body, our mind, our thoughts and all that, but we forget that this, at the very core level, this I is the same. And then he had discussed this concept before in some previous words, that when we are learning this thing, first God looks like third person, somewhere there which is different from me. Then I learn, and I say, okay, God is in everyone. So then I start seeing other people say, hey, God is in them also. But finally, it's, oh, God is in me also, right? So then it comes back to me, that, hey, this is how the journey happens, first person. And then he was saying that, how in chapter 15, when we come across chapter 15, Bhagwan himself says that he is the Purushottam, Uttam Purush. Purush is the consciousness, but he's the highest. So he's saying that generally speaking, when we're talking about God, it's, no, I cannot be God. No, or the world is so bad and all that, it cannot be God. Like, no. But that when we learn, then we come back to this understanding that, understanding gets deeper. So whether I talk to you or whether I look at the world or who I am, then finally everything comes together. Everything is God. And then you realize that the same thing has become everything. That's the journey he was talking about, going deeper into it. So, in short, that, when we transcend this Maya, then we will understand. And to transcend the Maya, we have to invoke Sattva Guna, and that Sattva Guna will lead us, to surrender. So that's the whole thing about this. Any question or comment? Anybody want to add anything to this?
I still... should I speak now? Or
yes. Because before we read.
I still feel that this is so unfair in the sense that, let's say that there's a little child and there's the mother. And the mother, the child is crying in the room and mother is hiding behind the curtain. Why the heck is she hiding behind the curtain? Why can't she just become visible so the child can see and, things are easier for the kid?
Okay, very good question.
So complicated. हम curtain के पीछे ही रहेंगे. आप देखो, आप समझो. You should realize. You should come and raise that curtain, and then you will. For the child, whose intelligence compared to the mother's is very limited, it is a very traumatic experience.
Okay.
To not find what he or she is looking for, I think.
So when it comes to the child and mother example, the correct way to understand our Bhagwan as us is the child gives, Bhagwan gives all the toys, or the mother gives all the toys to the child, right? Go play. The child is playing and then, but in the end, when he gets totally bored with this playing, then he turns around saying, Mom, and he fully wants mom will come running. No matter where she is, in which corner, as long as you are playing with the toys, you say, khel raha hai, khelne do. That's the difference. So when this example, we have to look at it correctly. Mother is right there somewhere. Up to a certain age, mother cannot leave the child, right? Yes. She has to be there somewhere in the house. But as long as he's playing, she says, khelne do. The moment he wants mother, 100% she'll come, and it's the same exact thing. So this example also, we have to take it correctly.
I
Satisfied?
think also,
Yes. Is that Manju?
yeah, let
Yeah.
Joe say it first, then I'll say.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Yeah. I had a theory that the Maya is like Devi, and you have to worship Devi to get permission to see God. So if you do that, then it's easier to see God than to go directly to Him.
See, I mentioned that, no? The Yoga Maya has the 3 gunas, right? You know.
Yeah.
So the Sattvic guna means you are taking help of the Devi. Even Devi is not going to come if you just are in Tamoguna and Rajoguna. You won't even know who Devi is at that point. But the Sattoguna increases, yes, you can take the help of Devi for sure. In fact, in one of the Upanishad, they have the same concept that, Parvati appeared. And then they took the help of Parvati to go to the highest because it's a representation.
Like to me, Shardama appeared, and then through her I could go and see Krishna.
Right. But for the Shardama to appear also, you have to purify yourself. Shardama is not going to come just like that.
No, then you have to worship Devi.
Same thing, and when you
That's
say
what
worship,
Ramakrishna did.
yeah, you won't be able to worship until there is some Sattoguna in you. Otherwise, you will be just संसार में घूमते रहेंगे हम लोग. So all of you, what you're saying, it makes sense over here.
Actually, I think, it's how deeply you want it.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about.
I mean, you really have to, really from the bottom of your heart, you really have to want it. And you'll only want it when you've experienced everything in the world. You've experienced what money is. You've experienced, all the luxuries, this, that, and the other. And still you don't have that inner happiness. That's the time that realization will come, no, there's something more in life. Because when I used to go for Sri Hari, when I used to go to all these realized souls, and, I wanted to go to tell them that, please, can you cure Sri Hari? But it would never happen that way. Over there, when you stood in front of them, you felt all is right with the world.
Yeah.
And then gradually, that revelation came that no, there's something more that one should seek for rather than in the world. Because in the world, prakriti mein to 100% perfection hoegi nahi. Matlab ye in the outer world, there won't be 100% perfection. Perfection is inside. Like happiness भी हम लोग को हर situation से हम लोग को happiness नहीं मिलती actually. Happiness मिलती है कि from your inner self you are happy. Therefore, any situation in life you can make use of it and use it as a step to climb up. So that deep longing has to come, and I think everybody is a seeker. There's nobody who's not a seeker. But like how a fruit on a tree, it will ripen. When it ripens, automatically it falls down. So like that also, when, experiencing everything or something that really, triggers off, that you really want that deep longing. And with that deep longing, that, the spiritual journey starts, in which everything becomes personal to you. With the grace of the Guru, because you need grace. So grace, that what Joe was saying, Devi is very, very important. Devi helps you like a mother, she has that extra compassion for you. And when you cry out to her, then, and Devi has all the powers of the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. उनके सब पास से तो देवी बनी है ना. जब सब देवता गए और बोला उन्होंने कि अभी हम लोग कैसे डील करेंगे ये सब जो अनष्ट होता है, तो फिर उन्होंने देवी बनाया. तो देवी is the destroyer of your ignorance.
So I think
with my, इसीलिए even with Sadhguru, Bhairavi Devi is very important. Devi, we worship, we
sort of worship. But I think the realization just comes, when you want it.
See, one of the things I was
deeply
thinking of
want
is that we cannot be putting foot in two boats. That's what we want. We want the world also, and we want that also. So that's our problem. Like even that the child ko wala jo example diya na, I want toys also and mommy also. But in that, no example is perfect. But even when the child completely drops everything and then asks for mom, that's how you have to see. So that longing has to get deeper.
But the thing is that, we have to live in this world. We are living in the family.
No, of course. Yeah.
But living everywhere. There's a very beautiful dristant which says कि एक घोड़ा वाला है. वो अपने घोड़े को लाता है तो वो गांव में कैसे पुराने जमाने में होता था ना, बाल्टी होती है गोल सर्कल में, तो वो खड़ा हुआ अपने घोड़े को लेकर के, तो वो एक आदमी जाता है तो बोलता है पिलाओ घोड़े को पानी, तुमको पिलाना है तो पिला लो. तो बोलता है ये बाल्टी रुके तो घोड़े को पानी पिलाए ना. तो बोलता नहीं, बाल्टी नहीं रुकेगी तो ये चलते हुए नहीं पानी पिलाओ. वैसे ही संसार, तो रूपी संसार में हम रह रहे, जब तक हमारे पास देह है तो हम हैं. हमको सुबह नाश्ता भी चाहिए, हमको खाना भी चाहिए, हमको घर भी चाहिए, हमको सब कुछ चाहिए. सब कुछ चाहते हुए भी, लाइक हाउ कृष्ण भगवान इज मायापति, वो कैसे शेषनाग के ऊपर खड़े होकर के नाचते हैंगे, वैसे लिविंग इन द वर्ल्ड यू हैव टू बिकम मायापति. मायापति जब तुम होगे तब तुमको लगेगा हाँ पैसा है, ये है, वो है, सब कुछ है. पर ये सब कुछ होते हुए भी you will see through everything. You will see the divine in all forms. In money also there's God. It's an energy. लक्ष्मी तो चाहिए सबको, नहीं तो घर कैसे चलेगा. कमाना भी होएगा, नहीं तो घर नहीं चलेगा. तो लक्ष्मी भी चाहिए हमको, ये दुर्गा भी चाहिए. मतलब सब कुछ हमको रहते हुए घर में चाहिए. हम लोग रेस्ट में रहते हैं, बच्चे भी हैं, सब कुछ है, पर सब कुछ होते हुए, when your husband scolds you, if you can see the divine in him and try to take or use that opportunity to quickly climb up a step, in those climbing up the steps is your success. I mean, this is the way I feel.
No, good. So what we can do is we can read and we can also discuss more at the end. So we continue our thing also. Let's see what Swamiji has to say. Thank you for all the insight. No, that was very good. Any volunteers to read? Yeah, Sushil ji.
I'm not manifest to all in my real nature, where by divine Maya, this deluded world knows not me, the unborn, the imperishable. If there be such a glorious, essential truth factor, which is core everywhere, why is it that it is not freely known and experienced by everyone at all times? In short, what stands between me and myself? Why is it that we behave as though we are but the limited egocentric entities, and that we are not even able to comprehend the idea that in essence we are the infinite, the immortal? These questions are unavoidable in the bosom of an intelligent seeker, wherein he, in his aspirations, comes face to face with the staggering revelations contained in Vedanta.
So here, obviously a very pertinent question that every intelligent person will ask, if there is such a glorious and essential factor, then why it's not freely available to everybody? Obviously, that's a question. And there are so many people, some people will say that, hey, Bhagwan ki maya hai to badi strong hogi, obviously. Bhagwan ka power hai, it's not that easy to. But anyway, he is taking the approach that why, so here is the answer. Yes. Next paragraph.
This deluded world knows me not, the unborn and the immortal, because their own illusion, born out of three gunas, veils me from them. Maya is the most difficult theme for all early students of Vedanta. When they try merely to understand this science of life objectively, the moment a student tries to experiment with this knowledge, upon himself subjectively, the explanations contained in the theory become self-evident. Maya, which is the conditioning through which, when the non-dual truth expresses itself, the one reality seems to fan out as the spectrum of multiple universe.
So here he's just explaining, and we have discussed it, that if our nature is, unborn and eternal and changeless, then why are we feeling exactly opposite of it? Exactly. And there is one factor, and look at the variety in the world. Matlab, it's an infinite amount of variety keeps happening. I forget about everything else, just the human face. Each face is unique. There could be 7 billion people, each one is unique. It is exactly opposite because of this power of Maya, which makes it non-dual truth express itself as though multitude. So this is a scientific fact that we have to understand. And this illusion is the one that veils me. So at least, and then I was thinking that it's like Bhagavan is giving the remedy, but we are the ones who are lazy to follow it. Because he's telling you that 3 gunas are there. Make the tamo guna and rajo guna less. And go to the sattva guna. But what we want? No. I want to stay in rajo guna. I want to do everything in the world. But I still want Bhagavan. It's not going to happen. That's why we have to increase the sattva guna. So then the Devi will come.
The principle of Maya functioning in the individual is termed ignorance of Vidya. This subjective malady, which provides in its wake the dreamy hallucinations of a sorrowful world of change and imperfections, has been very closely observed, and the rishis of old have declared that it is caused by 3 types of moods in man's inner personality. These 3 temperaments, gunas, called sattva, rajas, and tamas, provide a prism viewed through which the kaleidoscopic world seems to dance, parading their infinite patterns. Rajas creates mental agitations, vikshepa, and tamas creates the wailing avarna.
So these 2 are the very famous in Vedanta, vikshep and avarana. Avarana, हम लोग हिंदी speaking, avarana मतलब ढक लेना किसी चीज को. When you cover it, and vikshep means agitations of the mind. So these 2 things happen. The tamo guna is covering, means दिखाई नहीं देता है. It's like best example, we have discussed it, but it applies over here. So I'll repeat it for especially the people who joined later, that we have the sun shining in the sky, and then you have a bucket of water. If the water is absolutely steady and clear, you will see the reflection exactly as it is. So, and then the sun will get revealed to me exactly as it is. The same way Brahman will get revealed if my mind is completely steady and has no dirt in it. Dirt is like, whatever the 6 sharks we call it, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya, all that. And then, so what happens is that suppose if in that water, there is a thick algae on the top, you will never see the reflection. The same way with the tamas gun, it completely covers that knowledge. And then when it covers, then we project something else, or just like that snake on the rope. And then vikshep is agitations of mind. In this world, we are constantly agitated and all that. These 2 things keep us away from realizing who God is. So here is very scientifically approaching this thing. And when Sattva Guna, when I say that, that's when all these 2 things become less. Because we discussed about the gunas, when Sattva Guna is predominant, the other 2 go in the back. They are resting, They are still there, but they are not bothering you. Go ahead.
To him who becomes confused and confounded by the play of these triple temperaments, the self is not available for direct experience. Special instructions from teachers and diligent practice on the part of the students are both necessary in order to make one realize one's own real nature. To an ignorant man of jungle, electricity is unmanifest in the bulb and in its efflorescent filament. In order to perceive the electrical current that flows through the equipment, theoretical knowledge and experimental confirmation are unavoidable. After having gained the knowledge of the electrical energy and its properties, though the student happens to see the very same bulb, he comes to cognize through the perceived bulb the imperceptible and therefore the unmanifest electrical energy.
It's such a great example, right? So he's saying, just suppose if somebody doesn't know anything about electricity, तो इंडिया में बोलते हैं कोई गवार को लेके आओ जिसने कभी देखी नहीं हो. एक hypothetical example. अभी तो हर जगह है electricity. Just think of this as an example. And then say, okay, there is electricity in ये bulb में ना electricity, इसे कौन सी electricity है? सच पूछो तो हम लोग ने भी नहीं देखी है electricity, you know. And Swamiji used to joke about it. He says, have you seen? No, I just know it scientifically. Okay, it's there. And then I see the effects of it. And then after learning everything, okay, there is electricity. Because he's saying that if you say, oh, I want to experience that, and you stick your finger in there, you won't be there to tell you. You'll be dead. So, but that knowledge is very important to understand it from the core. And after knowing that knowledge, when I look at the whole thing, then again I say, oh, now I see it. So there's a whole process in it, you know. So that's what he's talking about. I thought it's such a brilliant example that, you know, then I will understand it, that what it is.
Similarly, when through self-control, listening, reflection, and meditation, the agitations of the mind are controlled and quieted. And thereby, when the veiling has been pulled down, the seeker rediscovers me, the unborn, the immutable. As long as agitations of the mind veil the intellect from its awareness of the self, so long the limited ego, jiva, pants to fulfill itself and to gain the infinite among the gutters of the central cravings.
So he is very strong in his language, you know. But here comes back to the same thing, that hey, they have prescribed the whole path: self-control, listening, reflection, and meditation. When the agitation of the minds are controlled, then it gets quietened, and then the veil gets pulled down, and you realize it. So, but what we want is we don't want to control self-control. We don't want to do this listening, reflection, meditation. Bas mil jayega. Kyun nahi mil rahe? That's the problem. And I think the other drishtant is very good one is of this Draupadi. That Draupadi, when did Krishna Bhagavan come to her rescue? When everything failed for her in the world. You know, she could not depend on her 5 husbands, her you know, Bhishma Pitama, none of them. And then the Krishna Bhagavan came in 1 second, saved her. So that's a very beautiful drishtanta, because we think हमको ये बचा लेगा, पैसा बचा लेगा, दुनिया बचा लेगी, relatives बचा लेंगे. None of that, you know, that kind of surrender you need. And I like that example of Draupadi a lot.
Such frenzied hearts, blotted with desires and lacerated with disappointments, crushed by dissatisfactions and smothered by the fear of their own annihilation, can never have the integrated equipoise to live at least a moment of still awareness to experience the pure consciousness. The deluded world knows me not, as it is steeped in the illusion born out of the threefold gunas, screened off by this universe of names and forms, which is but an apparent projection of the self. The ordinary sense organs, mind or intellect, fail to perceive it. The ghost wears the post. The mirage waters clothe the desert. The waves screen out the ocean.
So he gave all 3 examples. And then our teacher used to say, when do you see the screen? When the movie stops. Right? Until the movie is going on, you're not going to see that. So for us, it's the movie going on, reeking with desire, all disappointment, ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai, sab kuch, crushed by dissatisfaction. He already said it. That's what we face, right? Smothered by fear. On America, mein to it is like everybody makes profit on people's fears. ये हो जाएगा, ये इंश्योरेंस ले लो, वो इंश्योरेंस ले लो, कल मर जाओगे, take life insurance, my God, they really kind of. So anyway, that's what his analysis. Swamiji goes a very, very scientific approach he takes about this. Both of them are beautiful, I think,
The present condition of ignorance and confusion in the limited finite ego is brought out very vividly in the following, by contrasting it against the background of the self, which is of the nature of all knowledge.
So that's going to come next. Further he will explain the difference between the two. And I think there is one more example, that there is a billi ka bacha and there is bandar ka. So yeah. I think billi ka bacha is completely surrendered to the billi, right, Meena ji? Because
yeah,
and that's why she picks up with the mouth, yeah,
but and not with the monkey.
Yeah. So
the child has to go and grab, take the
mother. Yeah. So he's saying if you surrender completely, then you will become like a billi ka bacha and God will come and take care of you. And then he already promised in Bhagavad Gita, it's going to come in the verse, chapter 9, that if you surrender to me, I'll take care of your yoga and shame. That means we might think, I need this in the world, that in the world, I need money. He will give you everything that you need, Mm-hmm. So what we think, meri wajah se mujhe mila hai sab kuch. There are people who equally do that much hard work. But some gets more, some get less because of the prarabdha and everything. But whatever you need for your life, for the higher purpose, he will give you. Not your greed, but your need. Because Bhagavan never promised, I will fulfill all your greeds. He said, whatever you need, I will give you, and whatever you need, I'll protect it also. That's what the surrender is all about. Yeah.
Maji, with the complete surrender, all the agitations of the mind go away.
Exactly. It's like, a baby feels so safe with the mother, right? Baby has no fear. Mother and father are there, that for them, God is there. Take care of me, So, but the moment we get older, we start having that fear. Because we start doubting everything around us. Even with this pandemic and all that, now that it is kind of behind us and the life has kind of come back. But when we were going through it, oh my God, how much fear was there, kya hoga, ye hoga, wo hoga, pata nahi, Any other point or question, comment?
I feel the original point that I raised is about Maya, only Maya. That is the biggest difference between, I think, Hinduism and any other religion. For example, complete surrender, ये तो हर religion बोलता है, right? उनका जो भी भगवान है, उसको आप completely surrender करिए, तो you will go to heaven या go to जन्नत या go to whatever it may be, right? और उसके तरीके भी बताए हैं कि भाई कोई कहेगा कि चर्च जाओ, कोई कहेगा कि मस्जिद जाओ, कोई कहेगा कि whatever it may be. So far, all of that is fine. The only thing which is, I think Hinduism is so difficult to understand. For example, what I'm trying to say is this, that for example, Christianity में आप 10 commandments हैं, very simple, don't, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not, honor, thou shalt honor thy father and mother, वगैरह वगैरह. आप उन 10 को practice करते जाइए and you are done. Okay? So I'm not saying that's easy to do, but the rules are very clear. You do that. Hinduism में क्या है कि एक माया है, and everybody is blessed with that maya, right? Every single person that is born, first when they are born, they don't have the maya, but as they start growing, बच्चा जैसे बड़ा होता है, उसको होता है ये मेरा है, ये मेरा
No, but
है.
wait, before you go forward, why did you say that you don't? Maya is inherent in everything. We are born with that, the 3 gunas. So how can you say that when we are born we don't have
चलो,
Maya?
तो okay, then the maya is there. Now to lose that maya is the most difficult part. I think it's very easy to follow the 10 commandments, but it is very difficult for people to understand. Like I said, कि भाई behind the curtain there is, हमारा है ना घूंघट के पट खोल तुझे पिया मिलेंगे.
अच्छा, so सुनो, your 10
घूंघट का पट खोलना ही
commandments.
बड़ा मुश्किल काम हो जाता है.
I got your question. Okay, the 10 commandments ले लो. कोई बोलेगा कि don't steal, right? तो हम बड़े खुश हो जाते हैं कि oh, I'm not a thief, so I should get God. But you will be surprised in what form people steal. And I'm not trying to put anybody down and all, but this actually happened.
No.
Now listen,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Drishtant, you will get the picture. So this person, we had gone to their house, and at night, the garage was open, so somebody stole some things from the garage. Some teenager in the neighborhood or something. Then they were very upset. We were also, oh my God, garage khula reh gaya inka. And then we were just discussing, and this person said, oh, I have insurance, so I'm going to just, get it from the insurance. And the wife said, yeah, you can just, make up something and put it there, and you'll get it from the insurance. And they were so upset with the guy who stole the stuff. These guys are going to do bigger stealing. Okay?
Yeah.
And then there's another incident happened that this lady told me, मेरी बेटी झूठ बहुत बोलने लगी आजकल. वो जो बगल वाली है ना, उसके संगत में आके सब झूठ बोल रही है ये. Teenagers, yes, we have to be, what can you do? You have to just kind of manage. And then she said, we are going to India this kind of holidays, and I want to extend, and the school is not allowing, so we are going to just say that the dadi is bimar, so she has to go. Who's teaching her the jhoot? So 10 commandments may look very easy, but it's not
I
easy.
understand that it is not easy. I mean, following 10 commandments also challenging है हर एक के लिए.
They will come to the same point. If somebody satoguna,
for a person of lesser intelligence also it is understandable. मतलब लेकिन हिंदू फिलॉसफी जो है, मुझे लगता है इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल उसका बहुत हाई चाहिए.
सुनो, बट आप लोग थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हो रहे हो. यहाँ पर भगवान ने ना, जैसे यहाँ पर 3 डिफरेंट योगास बताया है. भक्ति योगा भी है, ज्ञान योगा भी है, and कर्म योगा भी है, right? Bhagwan said, hey, you don't like this intellectual analysis and all, don't worry about it. Just go do your karma in this mode. Surrender to me, blah, 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 blah. So then what we are studying is because our brain is like that. Bhagwan is not saying that you have to go Gyan Marg only. So यहाँ पे variety दी गई है. Variety.
There are so many options.
Yes.
In Hinduism, there are so many options. You are right.
Yes. So that's where you're getting confused कि यही एक मार्ग है. No, that's not what it is. You have so many different marg over there. You can pick your, but उनके में वो एक ही मार्ग है. 10 commandments done with. And उनका 10 commandment भी कोई कर ले तो मैं जानूं.
Down any religion, लेकिन वो कम अकल वालों को भी समझ में आ जाएगा.
लेकिन superficial. Meera ji, I told you this example. We think that we don't steal. Go to your deep. Be very brutally honest with you, and you will know. Are you telling lies? Are you stealing? And all that. We all do things. We sugarcoat करके we do it. So if अगर किसी ने 10 commandment मान लिया वो Jesus का, वो पहुंच जाएगा वहां पे, same spot पे. 100%.
10 commandments को follow करने के लिए भी सत्व गुना नहीं होगा तो he cannot do it.
Exactly what I'm saying. And I saw that whole series of Jesus, what was the name of it? I forgot now, which came on Netflix. I tell you, the kind of suffering him and the other four went, and every time they will question him. They said, you are telling us to go on path of God, your Father in heaven, but look at what we are facing. So he kept reminding him, this is not real, what you're facing. This is what you have to show them, there is other side. कितने भी मेरे को कठिनाई उन लोग की ग्राइंडिंग अगर हम लोग कर लेंगे ना तो हम लोग 100% पहुंच जाएंगे वहां पे. लेकिन वो ग्राइंडिंग हम लोग को ऐसे लगता है कि बहुत ईजी है. नो 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 नो. जीसस ने तो सबसे ज्यादा बलिदान दिया. हम लोग को तो कोई एक सुई भी चुभती है तो हम लोग चिल्लाना शुरू करते हैं. He was nailed on it. So we can say 10 commandments, but what he went through and the forgiveness that he had in his heart, उसका हमको 5% भी मिल जाएगा तो हम लोग बहुत धन्य हो जाएंगे.
That is true. That is true.
So we cannot just say, it looks easy. दूर के ढोल सुहावने लगते हैं. The grass looks greener on the other side, but actually it is coming to the same circle. Whether you follow Christianity and even what Muhammad was saying, these terrorists and all that, they completely mess it up, what he was trying to say. He was trying to say something spiritual and they take it, go do, this kind of killing and all that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No spiritual person will ever go say to do those things. So those are the things that, very important. But in Vedanta, it encompasses almost everything.
So that's where I was going to give a comment that there is God 1.0, which is, one person saw a vision and he said, this is my religion. Then there's God 2.0, where thousands of rishis, thousands of years, they heard the Shrutis, they converted into scriptures to all this stuff, the Maya and everything. So to find an easier religion, you can follow one person. But what I heard Osho say was, nobody became Christ following Christ, because your path is your own and you have to find it. So the best way it explains is because of all the rishis, tapasya they did, that we are benefiting that.
I think one other basic difference is that Hinduism follows incarnation.
Yeah.
When you get 10 commandments, it says, okay, do this and do that and don't do that. Once you think, I've done all these 10 commandments, I'm done. And there's no rebirth, no coming back, nothing, no problems with what I did or did not do. Whereas in our religion, it says, no, you're not done. It's more than that. Right. So that also brings into this that those 10 commandments itself are just doing good in the whole life, is not going to get you where you want to go.
See,
exactly.
Also, this whatever this reincarnation. See, something reincarnation. I mean, Meeraji, you put that whole video. I didn't watch it completely, but about the 9/11 boy, right? So whether you are a Christian or you are a atheist, or scientific facts don't change. So when it comes to reincarnation, they already Christians themselves, some of them will say that it was there originally. And if Jesus is talking about Father in heaven, he's talking beyond life, this life on earth. So automatically, if you're going to see Father in heaven, you are going to be there after you die, So all these things are just confusion in people's head, so you can take it whichever way you want. And I have met many Christians who believe in reincarnation. So, we may just assume across the board that these people don't. Aisa bhi nahi hai. And now with...
No, first of all, let me thank everyone in this class. You guys are just, when I have a question and I put it out there, everybody jumps in and tries to explain, and it becomes so clear to me, after listening to all of you. So really, it's just marvelous. All of you, I mean, Umaji, of course, is the best, but everybody tries.
No, everybody is the best. And I think that's the whole purpose of this class, because it's not, that's why the discussion.
So I feel so grateful that I have this resource to me, where everybody is trying to help me. It is Thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, so with that note, I'm going to move forward with my next thing, and we can still do the last half an hour discussion, so nobody's thing will be unheard. If somebody has to say something or discuss.
Can I just quickly ask
Yes.
one thing that those people who are self-realized, do they know that they are self-realized now? Do they
I'm
know?
sure they know, that's why it's called self-realized. They do know, of course.
They do.
Of course.
So like Swamiji knew that he's...
Yeah, and we can only assume and and all that. It's like somebody said it that way, that unless you become self-realized, you won't even know what they're talking about. So
And Sadhguru has a video in which he showed what happened to him when he got self-realized.
Sadhguru and also the Yogananda, and that's why the autobiography
He
of Yogi.
recorded it actually, what he was feeling.
Yeah. It's oneness. They feel this oneness with the universe. And a lot of people, if you hear the account of these NDE walas, the people who go in the other realm, a lot of them feel the same. Suddenly they become one with everything.
Well, somebody asked from Chinmayananda whether he is self-realized or not. And he says it doesn't make any difference whether I am or not. If I say, yes, I am, are you going to believe me? If I say I'm not, are you going to believe me? So it's not up to you guys to judge me. I should know whether I am or not. And if you get self-realized, you will know it. So asking about whether somebody is realized or not, it really is not, is questionable. When anybody says I'm realized, well, we can always doubt that. So I don't think there's a really good
Fixed answer. True. It's like...
I have a small video, some sadhu who said, I'm talking to me and all that. I don't know, I'll send you that. It's really funny because I am totally self-realized and God is in me and I'm talking to me. So I'm not talking to you.
I mean, yeah, it's a hard concept to explain, but it's something like what Sushilji is saying. If suppose we say, yes, Swamiji is self-realized, there'll be always two groups. One will say, yes, he is. Another one will say, yes, he's not. And there may be another group who say, I don't know. So it's the same thing with internet these days. Hey, this thing is good or bad. You can go and find, there'll be a group of people say, this is very good, and the other one will say, this is the worst thing. And the others will say, I'm confused. So this is what Maya is.
Do we think Ramakrishna was self-realized? Because he used to go in samadhi with the name of a god, And that time, he was totally gone. He didn't know what was going on. So if you read his gospel, he's asking people, what I was doing, what was happening and all that. So I don't know what you call self-realized. I'm sure he was self-realized.
It's same thing, like we can just keep guessing. So what all these saints and sages are saying, why don't you also reach there? फिर तुम्हारे सारे answers पूरे हो जाएंगे. Like it was Vivekananda's statement that when you are on that side, you have no questions. Because everything is answered. Okay, so on that note, I'm going to close. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhya mokshayishyami ma shuchah. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.